18 days ago, at the time of this recording, a game that I had been waiting on for a very, very long time finally came out. Hytale, the highly anticipated sandbox adventure game that has been in development since 2015. The Minecraft 2.0, the development ecosystem developed by modders for modders. Slicky, Kevin, in November 2025, made a blog post that gave me a great deal of hope in Hytale and my aspirations as a budding game modder. In this post, he talks about delivering a game with modding at its core, with blocks, items, NPCs, world generation, UI, systems, and behaviors, all driven by data and code that you can influence. He shares a vision for modders, saying new modders to enter game creation without needing expensive software or years of experience, and for Hytale to blur the line between playing games and creating games. He finishes by saying that they're providing the modding tools. These are the tools we use to build Hytale itself, and they were building these tools with modding in mind. But especially in the middle of all this, he throws this challenge that I'm answering today. You are absolutely encouraged to hold us accountable for that. So here I am, making you accountable in the way I know, making a YouTube video. Oh, okay. Editing Eric here, rewatching this video for the seventh time, and I just want to preface really quickly, other than mispronouncing this word, accountable, and a few little quirks of being French, and I just want to make sure that you understand that this angry persona is actually an act. I'm very, very good at acting angry. I could act angry at this pin. What the fuck is wrong with you, pin? Seriously, no. It's all an act. All right, good. Okay, thank you. I'm probably about to make a lot of enemies here today. So if you're gonna hate me, you might as well know who I am and hate me for the right reason. My name is Eric. I am a 45-year-old nerd with a passion for video games and programming. My first ever video game were Donkey Kong and Joust on the ColecoVision when I was 3 years old. I owned a lot of the consoles out there at some point or another, especially on the Nintendo side, some PlayStation. But nowadays I'm a PC gamer through and through. My first video game idea was for an MMORPG when I was 14 years old, but it was overly ambitious. It was so big that even with today's technology, the game would barely be possible. I never got into game dev though. I started programming when I was 16 with some HTML. Shout out to Front Page 98, best way to learn HTML. I did a lot of internet tech support. I made a lot of things here and there, and I became a lot more serious 10 years ago, where I learned modern JavaScript by doing Discord.js bots. And I even did a now deleted video series on this very YouTube channel as a bot guide for beginners. Ever since, I've been a professional front-end developer working with React in multiple various size companies that were multinational corporations. It is what it is in the tech world. So how does that tie me into video game modding? Well, I like the idea of modding and video game development. It's been a dream since I was a teenager. I've never really taken the time to dive deeply into it. I would have the time, but I'm playing video games instead of learning how to do video games. It's my own entire fault, not anybody else's. So here I am today talking about what triggered me in the right way to start digging and start learning. I thought Kevin's call to action, all this talk about making modding easy for beginners, about focusing on ramping up, about listening to what hurts, the onboarding experience, made Hytale the best place to start learning Java and get into simple modding. I saw their example video about completely transforming Hytale into a Vampire Survivor top game. I saw the first time lapse of building a portal. I saw the raw, unbridled power that would be at my fingertips. Surely there would be proper tools. Surely there would be proper documentation. Foreshadowing is a literary device. And doing awesome mods was just behind me picking up Java, figuring out some basics, and maybe even getting a really simple mod out there quickly. So I bought the game a week before release. I waited for that release, and it came while I was in the office. I was stuck in meetings all day, and I could not get away from it. They were important meetings. But between of them, I was starting to watch a 2-hour video on Java for programmers to make sure that I was ready for most of it. As it turns out, JavaScript, they don't just share the name, the syntax is almost the same. So I had a lot of confidence. I thought that I would be ready to get into it, and like I would struggle a bit with the complex parts, but my breath was bated and my neurons were quivering with anticipation. Me and my roommate had a plan. We wanted to make an overly ambitious, the theme of what I do, magic-based mod that would pull inspiration from so many of the games we've played in the past, as well as from movies and TV shows and, all of that. We wanted a magic or spell crafting system that was almost on par with Morrowind. We wanted potion brewing, item-based enchantment made with drops from various monsters and plants to infuse weapon and scrolls to create powerful, maybe overpowered spells from a book or in weapons or attached to gear and baubles. We wanted to add speed, hyperjumps, dashes, blinks, other traversal features. We wanted big. Yes, we knew it would take a while, weeks, months, whatever it took, but we knew what we wanted. Now comes the hard part for me as a programmer, and it's to explain the times where I utterly failed to get anything done, explaining my own personal failures. I do have to take some of the blame here, because even knowing how Java itself works on a high level, I'm clearly missing the experience to be able to do anything without some basic examples, tutorials, some documentation. Unfortunately, though, I have to put the vast majority of the blame on Hytale itself. I have to call out Kevin and Simon for failing to deliver what I was expecting. I said something a bit more insulting in this video, but that's what I meant. So here's the first failure. It started with the idea of a spell bar or action bar. I thought, well, okay, we're going to have a lot of spells. We're going to have a lot of abilities. So we need to have a way to contain them, to put them in, some sort of action bar type deal where we have hotbar. We can't work with just 10 slots, especially removing them from the normal actions you have in the game, like the normal items, your sword, your pickaxe. But there's no customizable keybinds in Hytale. I was flabbergasted. I asked on modding servers, I asked on the official server, and the answer always came back to use the existing hotbar. There's a system. I saw a video, a tutorial on how to lock one hotbar slot so that if you hit, like, let's say the 0 key, it would use the item without switching to that hotbar, giving you the option to do an ability or add a potion that you could just drink directly or things like that. And this is because there's no other way. You cannot create new keybinds with the extensive modding system that Hytale promises. I heard arguments about how this was hard because of keyloggers, and all I could do is shake my head and point at Minecraft because it did it so well that I spent hours starting every modded playthrough fixing keybind conflicts from mods registering all sorts of keys. That was a bit of sarcasm. It's imperfect and annoying, sure, but every mod in Hytale binds to the alt key because nobody walks into this game and everybody now uses alt, alt, alt. Where the fuck are my keybinds, Kevin? Where the fuck are my keybinds? Oh, all right, fine. Never mind the keybinds. I thought, okay, let's make a spell book. Maybe we can show a menu where you can right-click, show a radial menu, click on a spell, and then you left-click to use it, right? Simple enough. You swap with an icon, you select the spell, and then you use it. Surely I can do that, right? Wrong. There's no way to create a radial menu in the current Hytale API, as far as I could tell, digging through all the chat logs, digging through the documentation, decompiling the goddamn jar, and figuring out by using a lot of tokens with the AI. Just don't. There is no way. The radial is actually in the client, not in the server, and the server cannot create a radial menu. Where the fuck's my radial menu, Kevin? Where? How do I open a quick menu, Kevin? How? Damn it! Let's try something else. How about I make a ring or a bracelet or whatever that gives the ability to enhance speed, give more stamina, more health. Nope. I mean, sure. I could have created a UI and inserted inventory slot, I think, or lock inventory slots in the backpack or something, where I could put the baubles or the charms or whatever to give those abilities. But where's the way to just add a slot in the normal inventory next to, in the space right next to, I'm going to show it on screen here. I can't. There's mods that do interactions. There's the Wayback Charm, which I use, where if you have it active in the hotbar and you press F, it warps you back to your bed or spawn point when it works, because the teleporting system in Hytale is broken. That's fine. It would be a hotkey in a bauble slot if we could do that, but it works. And then there's a magnet, which you have to put in the offhand, and it has to be active in order to function as a magnet. So modders have found ways around it. And obviously, 3 mods that I try to use bind to the Alt key, because where's my fucking keybinds, Kevin? But we can't add custom item slots easily in the current AI. I can't add a 4th tab where the player craft memory backpack is. So where's my fucking item slots, Kevin? How do I add more gear, Kevin? I'm just so angry. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I wanted to make such an awesome system. I wanted to create great things, and now I had to lower my expectations and drop down to making a weapon-based experience system, which has been done by other people, I checked, and has been done better, but I still want to make it, god damn it. I'm going to try anyways. I'm going to gain that experience. I'm going to do something. So, post-edit Eric here. Just realized that I didn't really expand on this. And the reason why I'm so angry at it is because basically the 2 mods that I did, Bolt Keeper and Signature Preservation, I don't even remember the names I used. They were done by other people several times. The thing I'm doing right now, which I'm not going to name the name, but like the weapon experience thing has been done in various ways. What I'm trying to say here is that every mod sort of feels the same because everyone is limited by the same fucking system. That's why it's frustrating, because I'm doing mods, but I'm doing the same mods everyone else is doing because I have no goddamn choice. That's the frustration. Except, Kevin, gros, écoute. Why can I not edit the tooltip of an item programmatically to show more information? I got this really nice XP system based on the ECS damage event. That's great. I can add information to the metadata. It's buggy, but it works. That's great. Except I can't show the current item level directly on the tooltip. And then I wanted to add a UI so that every 5 levels, you can add a bonus user-chosen effect to the weapon or the gear or, whatever. How do I show it? I can't do it in the middle of combat. I don't want to interrupt combat. That would be bad. So I can't be on level up. And I obviously can't register a custom keybind. Kevin, show me the sticky keybind. So I'm left with a slash command. Really? In 2026? God damn it. I have to do slash my mod to open a UI to show a button to open another UI to choose a custom selector for my bonus effect on the sword. It's weak and pathetic and archaic, and I hate it, every part of it. I would have loved for the system to do a lot of different things. For example, have a bonus to make swinging your weapon faster. Haste, weapon cooldown. But you know what? I can't. Let's rephrase that. Technically, I can by copying the entire weapon system locally in my asset mod. I have to copy all the JSON for every single weapon for the interactions in order to override weapon cooldown. Why? You know what this does, Kevin? It makes every other mod a potential conflict. Every other mod that copies these interactions now conflict with mine. And I understand that technically it could have conflicted even if I was overriding the base interaction, but you could do some sort of system where I add more code to an existing interaction using the API. Come on. So now you can use my system, or you can use some other system, but you can't have both. Because requiring copying over your entire vanilla assets, and presumably, if I wanted asset interaction with other mods, the assets of other mods. I don't even know how that works. It's just not how we want to work as modders. Not how I want to work. I'm not going to speak for the entire modder community. I'm sorry. It's not how I think this should work. The next step for me would be to find an API. Hey, remember API, remember Forge, remember Fabric, remember the APIs you had to work with because Mojang did not want to give you APIs. Remember how hard that was, Kevin? You worked on Hypixel, right? You know how hard this was. Now I have to do it with you. Now we have to make an API that copies your entire asset pack and then overrides these actions so that different mods can interact with it. So we need an unofficial API because your official API doesn't work. So I can't add enhanced weapon cooldowns. I did add other effects. I did. I got shit done. Still, through all of this, I added... I'm not having a mental breakdown. You're having a mental breakdown. I added proc on hit to poison, slow down, burn. No, I can't add freeze because it doesn't work. It's not implemented in the game. I really, really wanted the sword or item to reflect these things visually, but I can't. I can't because guess what? Adding a particle system to a base weapon, fire. You know your ember sword with nice fire on it? I wanted that on an iron sword or a crude sword. It requires, again, copying the entire weapon system assets to do that. I did try to do it in Java. I tried to add a particle system around using the fire assets and colors and everything. I couldn't get it working. It never appeared. I don't know why. I can obviously put that as my own personal failure. Maybe. Because I don't know Java enough. And even digging through the source code as I can't figure it out. It might be a skill issue. But it should be obvious. It really should. The issue isn't that it's not possible to do these things. It's that it feels like the wrong way to do these things because your API is so closed up and unreasonably built. And as a budding mod dev, it's really hard for me to continue working with it. It really is. Kevin, I want my magic system. I want my custom keybinds so I can make a WoW-like action bar with plenty of spells. I want to have a book of spells I quickly select from with a radial menu. I want to be able to add my rings, my necklaces, and my belts so that I can have dash on mouse 4 and a super jump and all of these things. None of this is fully possible or simply possible, and you promised it would be easy and powerful, and we could do all the things that you did to make this game, Kevin. I might be a Java beginner. I get that. But looking through the document, record scratch. Wait a minute. Where's the fucking documentation? Here's the problem. There's no fucking official documentation. We have a few people that have attempted to make some docs. We do. Hytale shout out to them. Neil and the gang, you're doing an awesome job trying to do the best documentation you can do on hytalemodding.dev. It's gorgeous. I love it. But the problem is, other people are doing trash docs. There's Hytale Dev and Hytale Docs. I'm sorry, guys. Your docs are AI-generated, vibe-coded garbage. I was sent down a path where I lost hours of work because I was trying to figure out, as a beginning Java developer, why the death event did not give me a event.getAttacker, which was listed on the Hytale Dev docs, I think. But it wasn't actually real. It was pure hallucination from some AI. But that's your fault, Kevin. It's yours because you didn't release documentation. You did not, in any state, in any format. We can do it by decompiling your jar file and generating docs from it. That's what Hytale modding started with, I think. I'm not sure. But like, I can look through the jar files and generate documentation from it. Why aren't you? Why is the community having to do your job as a game dev of releasing documentation while you could just dump it from the jar? I know you can do it. I've seen it done. Java docs looks ugly, but it works, and it's better than nothing. Ugh. Honestly, maybe I would have provided a lot of this feedback via your official methods, but I just can't. And I know that a lot of other people have the same feeling, and they share the same problem as I do. On Discord, not a goddamn chance. It's a spammy mess of people begging for new accounts, for free accounts, trying to find people to play with, trying to ask what the best server is, advertising their server, sending, scam for purchasing accounts that just steal people's information. You have almost no active moderation going on. I'm going to parentheses that by saying I know you can report messages, and I have seen actions being taken. That part sort of is there, but there's no discussion. There's no dialogue. None of the mods or devs are helping anyone directly. I could do it on the pause menu, click on feedback, fill it in. I tried to. I'm a very verbose person, as the runtime of this video shows, but so I can't use the feedback because it's like 500 characters. It's not enough for me to expose what I need. And on the website, I don't know. There goes the same reason as the pause menu. Like, they share the same problem. I don't know where the hell it's going. I know thousands of people every single day are sending feedback. I don't know where it's going. Somewhere in the database. Is it being looked at? Is it ignored? Is it being classified? Is it being sorted? Is somebody frantically looking through all of these and manually assigning priorities to the things you want? I don't know. So here's the most egregiously dramatic, angry part of this video. You thought I couldn't be more hateful or complaining or whining, but I can. Here's the way I'm seeing things right now. It probably strongly contradicts the image that you have of yourself as a company and as an individual Hytale employee watching this, I hope. The moment Hytale came out and the customers started flooding in, you immediately became closed off as any AAA game developer. Nobody in your team interacts with Discord in any meaningful way. Actually, not quite true. Even while I was recording this video, I witnessed, what's his name? It is Jelly Squid. I want to do a shout out. Jelly Squid, who asked the user to send him his corrupted world so that he could verify it. So I'm being hyperbolic and I'm actually being untruthful here. So I'm going to correct myself right now instead of being corrected in the comment. There is some action. It doesn't feel like enough, but there is. So that being said, you've closed all the feedback help channels, there's no looking for group. There's 4 channels, and all of them are being spammed, and all of them have this horrible, like, 1-minute cooldown that makes interaction with other people very, very difficult. It's hard to have a conversation, especially with multiple people in an environment like Discord, and trying to help other people, because I did, in this situation. It's not that hard to create a channel called Looking for Group and letting people go spam it. Maybe it would actually be helpful to them. I understand that being so popular all of a sudden is a big shift. The second you start talking on any Discord channel in any server, you get slammed and spammed with people demanding your attention to know what's going on. I know you have countless thousands of feature requests and bug reports and support tickets, and your system is overwhelmed. I know this is hard, but the response to this seems to have been to completely shut down, close all the doors, and resort to sending the occasional update on Twitter, keeping everyone in the dark and letting the community sort itself out. From the point of view of a player and now modder, you're looking no different than most large game company that are corporate, that just tell you, open a ticket and wait. Fill in the form and wait. We're not taking any feedback directly. See our official press release for updates. All right. I know this has been intense, and I understand that it's difficult from your point of view too. I know that it's not as simple as just hiring people and getting shit done. But we're missing the communication on all of this, and we're also missing the power that you promised. And you said you wanted to be accountable for it, and that's why I'm here. I'm doing this video as a beginner modder with very little experience that can't use the branch system, that the visual editor that you're going to do eventually, and that even as a professional developer, I find a hard time dealing with the Java API, and I find way too many limitations. You can't possibly tell me that you made the game with these tools. It's just not possible. So what's the solution to this? You want to bring me in as a... No, I'm just kidding. You probably don't want me as a mod on your system, but I think that you should start owning up to the fact that you could not deal with the volume and tell people, okay, we're going to hire a lot more people right now, temporarily, even consultants on an hourly basis, to deal with the support tickets, to deal with the feature request. We're going to create a roadmap to show you what our plan is for the next weeks, months, years. Start talking on Discord. Get some community managers, get some people that can speak on your behalf, create some new channels, do something. Show us, beyond the occasional Twitter update and the announcement of the update for the bug fix patch, that something is happening. Please. That's it. That's all I had to say. I'm going to keep mashing buttons until I get something half decent, but I've wanted to flip quite a few tables, and I'm getting tired of it. I did get 2 mods out, honestly. They work, kind of, sort of. I struggled with it. I struggled with a lot of limitations. I had to copy the entire goddamn crossbow assets, as mentioned, in order to get the interaction to grab a crossbow from the backpack. So Bolt Keeper on Modtail and CurseForge is sort of working, but I'm afraid it'll break any interaction from other mods. I don't know. I struggled with Signature Preservation, the other mod I have on CurseForge and Modtail, which keeps your ultimate Q ability between swapping in and out, because the metadata system causes the weapon to refresh in the hotbar, and it was hell, but it works, kind of. I really want to see more progress, and I'm going to keep working, and I'm going to keep making more video. I'm not done with this channel. I'm going to talk about my progress. I'm going to talk about other things in terms of modding and gaming. But for now, I'm done for real. Thank you for watching my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And as always, see you in a few clicks.